Okay, people, a little something different here. I'm showing you how difficult, the camera's over there, so I'm looking into the lens, people. I can only assume that you can see me here. I can see you there. Can you see me here? I haven't put on makeup for a long time, right? I don't know if this is going to make any difference. And I'm using very old makeup. I don't know if this is going to make any difference with my meeting. Right? But I said I'd try to dress up a little bit today. But as you can see, I'm just showing you how difficult it is for me to put on makeup. Right? Because I can't see people. I'm going blind. Remember I said that. Right? Can you see me? I'm going blind. So it's very hard to see. Like if I take it off like this, I can hardly see anything. Don't forget, I'm still using dollar store glasses. Because that last prescription didn't work for me. I couldn't use it. It was a waste of taxpayers' dollars. That's what that was. Right? I don't know if it was done on purpose. I was being sabotaged through the healthcare system just to keep me derailed. Right? Because there's people out there who like to play dirty politics with the most vulnerable in our society. And I'm one of them, people. You're witnessing my demise as I'm going blind, getting prescription glasses that don't even work. So I'm left with dollar store glasses. Right? As I'm being expected to look professional. As I try to self-represent my family in a difficult to access system. Anyway, what's it look like? Don't ask me to do this without my glasses on because I can't see. It's all blurry. Everything's blurry. So I gotta do it this way. You gotta scrunch up your face in order to be able to get it. After this, I'm going to take you to my sewing table and I'm going to show you what I'm going to go take to this lawyer that this person gets to look at for a measly 30 minutes. And in that case, I feel sorry for the lawyer. I have a lot of sympathy for this lawyer because that's a lot of information to go through in 30 minutes. I don't know how that's going to happen. But, you know, walking in that person's shoes can't feel that great either, right? Because they're there to help people. But they're on limited resources too, right? It's just a charity. That's all it is, with limited resources going into that charity. Can you hear me? I don't know. Does it make a difference? That just makes everything more blurry. And I don't put on a lot of makeup. I put a little bit of foundation on, a little bit of eyeliner, a little bit of, what do you call that? Eyeshadow. I have some old blush here from back in the day. It's probably about, I don't know. It's old anyway. And since I'm wearing browns, we'll go more with the brown. And then you go, you just kind of highlight your cheeks a little bit. Right. Hold on a minute. I mean, really, it's only YouTube, right? People do worse with their makeup than what I'm doing. Just a little bit like that. Not too much because it's daytime. If it was nighttime, going to a discotheque to go dance or something, maybe a little more. I never really needed a lot of makeup. Right? That's fine. As I'm aging, after the age of 40, my hormones went to sleep. All that stress. Right? And so I kind of losing all my hair. Not so much on my head, but I'm losing them on my eyebrows, but I'm not going to brighten them up just because it's a little more natural that way. I lose them on my legs. I don't have to ever shave my legs. My legs are almost bare. I don't have much hair underneath my armpits. Alright. So, okay, I'll be back. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Okay, so now I'm back. I have some of this old powder face stuff here. I don't know if it's my color, but anyway, just give it a bit of that. Right. Nothing too fancy. Right. I couldn't find my lip liner because, like I said, I don't normally have time to be wearing makeup. Right. So, but I did find a little bit of lipstick here, so I'll put a little bit of lipstick on. Let's just imagine if I never wore glasses. I used to have 20/20 vision. And last time I seen the eye doctor there, she couldn't understand why I even have glaucoma. Because it's something behind something in there. Normally I would put a lip liner and I'd use a little more peachy color. Like a, you know, little brighter, right? I like a little brighter, a little orangey peachy kind of. But this is good. Matches this stuff here, right? And since I can't find my lip liner, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Rubs off anyway. Yeah, you need the lip liner. I got injured, so I have a scar in there. So lip liner tends to. And then we'll try these funky earrings. I found these ones. Let's see. Is this how you dress to go see a lawyer? Hard to say. It is the way I am today. Right. Think about when you go to court, you can't wear hats. So, on those days, I might wear a headband. Right. But today I'm wearing a hat. You can see. I'm debating about whether putting on a belt, and I'm not sure what jacket I'm going to wear yet. Not doing anything with my hair. It's still wet, you can see. Right. I had a bath. So, I don't need it flying around. I don't feel like wearing a ponytail. Always wear a ponytail. So we'll just go back. That's what it would look like without a hat. Well, there you go. And then the seam is there. And just put that on. I don't know. Figure it out. I'm a famous YouTuber. I got a makeup channel. There we go. Okay, people. April 27, 2000 and I was going to say 13. I don't know why, but it's 2017, April 27th. As you can see, I'm getting ready to go see this lawyer for 30 minutes. What's that? That's a gong. That's Boots too. He's trying to get into the X Club. See? What he's doing. He's determined. He'll go in that box. No. Not today. People, so I figured before we go downtown and stress out this lawyer, I don't know who's stressed out, if it's going to be me with my 30 minutes thinking that I'm getting shortchanged, or the lawyer with their 30 minutes thinking that they just don't have enough time to go through all the information and feeling shortchanged themselves, right, in terms of a lawyer wanting to help somebody. So in the meantime, you know, I could be doing some yard work, but this is not how I normally dress up. Right?
You look nice today, Mom.
I was telling my daughter that I don't feel 55 right now, so if I could do this a few times a week, go dancing, I'm sure my outlook on life would change. But in the meantime, we've got our raspberry bushes growing, so,
and our blueberry bushes.
And the blueberry bushes, and we're going to be putting in another pond.
And strawberries.
That's what I normally do, so that's why we're just kind of highlighting today with my outfit, right? Okay, so we're going downtown and we're going to interview some people and see what their opinion is about their lot in life and what they think about the up-and-coming elections in May of something of this year, which is just like in 2 weeks from now. Okay, we'll see you downtown. Okay, people. So we're back now. We should have recorded that conversation. Seriously. Because it didn't go that good. Battling a 74-year-old man that doesn't want to rock the boat. That's been a lawyer for 45 years that accused me of knowing everything. You think you know everything. Because I wouldn't agree with his method. Because basically, this is what he wrote. First of all, people, you have to remember, a lot of this stuff that's going on in the court system right now, I seen it happen with Andre when I was filing for, to take the Ministry of Children and Family Development because I didn't qualify for a lawyer, people. I was flat out told that I wasn't qualified for a lawyer. I said, whatever, okay, whatever, I'll go to the Supreme Court, I'll start my own shit. I got to the Supreme Court, I got as far as to go talk to duty counsel, because that's where they directed me, started to fill out the paperwork. Duty counsel said, oh, well, you don't want to sue the government, you don't want to sue MCFD, because you'll never win, they're the ones with all the money, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. And I'm like, well, I don't really have a choice in the matter, right? We need to, I need, regardless of what you say, I need to keep pushing forward. Next thing you know, boom, bam, bing, I had approval, like I said in past videos, to get a lawyer from Victoria, from the head office. Because they didn't want me taking it to the Supreme Court, people. That's what it was. They thought they could distract me with this white-haired woman that glowed in the dark, reminding me that it was a fruitless battle because the government had all the money and I was just a nobody, right? So anyway, now we're fast forward a couple years later, and I'm kind of finding myself in the same situation here. What I'm trying to say is, I said, be quiet! What I'm trying to say is, if you notice, you don't really get access to fair representation unless you fight for it, as in Andre's case. And even then, I had to cut a deal where I feel like I got hoodwinked because my grandson is not covered for any dental program at all. Even though he's one of the poorest children in all of British Columbia, Canada. He should qualify for the Healthy Kids program where his dentistry is covered. In addition to his prescriptions should be covered. But because I can't put him on my social assistance file, he doesn't get dental and he doesn't get prescriptions. Right? And I can't register him because he's still connected to some ministry file through MCFD some way, somehow, even though I have full guardianship. All he's covered for is hospital visits and doctor visits. And that's just because it's flagged. If he shows up in the hospital, his name is flagged. Whatever is wrong with him will be sent to whatever office that has charge of his file. And because of that, I can't sign him on to my social assistance for dental care or prescription care. My income, people, is $677 a month. Right? They give me $800 a month through their provincial program, which is money from the federal government that's sent to the province, and then they send it to me. Right? And that's where I'm supposed to pay for his dental and his prescriptions. Although he's covered for hospital and doctor visits. So there's that gap again, people. Right? The reason that they set up this program wasn't for poor grandparents or poor caregivers. It was for those working people, right, that are above $35,000 a year or whatever it is in terms of their income tax, like their total, right, income. Because once they hit that threshold, this $800 that's given to me or someone in that $3,500 bracket, $35,000 bracket and up, could be $35,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, or whatever, right? They don't have to pay taxes on that $800. That is the perk. Andre, please go away right now. Go play with something. I am going to ask you nicely. Thank you. So it was designed to benefit the middle class. And even then, $35,000 doesn't put you in a middle class bracket. You get $70,000 and up. So if I was a grandmother making $70,000, $80,000 a year as a grandmother for myself, that $800 that's being designated by the provincial government, which some of those dollars are coming from the federal government, is tax-free. So it benefits them before it benefits the child. Because if it benefited the child, the poor children with the poor grandmas would be covered for their dental care and for their prescriptions, especially when the grandmothers are being targeted to go bankrupt. Which brings me to today. Let's get an understanding here. First of all, this little meeting that I had was a 30-minute meeting. We were booked in at 2:30. We didn't get in until 3. By the time we were outside having a cigarette, it was, and I got to the corner store, it was 10 to 4. So we were only in there for about 35 minutes, although the dude that was talking to us tried to say we were in there for an hour, which was a lie. Because we were outside, my daughter and I, bickering back and forth over what happened in that 35-minute conversation, right? Smoking a smoke outside, which was about 10 minutes or so. And by the time we got to the corner store, which was right across the street, it was already 10 to 4. And we didn't get in until 3. So we got a total of 35 minutes. And of course, the first thing this person wants to do, well, the first thing I told this person is, I don't know who I feel sorry for. more. I don't know if I feel sorry for myself more because I only get 30 minutes of your time, which I know is like insignificant, insufficient, right? It's not nearly enough time, right? But then it's by design. Because again, why would the provincial government want to give lawyers to tackle a corrupt system when that corrupt system makes the government money in terms of exploiting the elderly through the public guardian trustee and corrupt sisters and nurses and that type of thing, to lock them up, detain them, dope them up, take their money, and tuck them away like a dirty little secret into these temporary care homes, deny them access to their loved ones, make it so that they can't talk to nobody, and give them 3.6 hours per day of quality health care, while the other, 20 hours a day, they sit there and amuse themselves. More than likely in a dirty diaper. This is what this man is defending. And I called him on it today. And I told him, I hope nothing bad happens to you. You're 74 years right now. So I asked him, how old are you? Right? Because you could be an Uncle John. Well, I'm 74. You know, and I'm like, yeah, exactly. You're 74 years old. You're not out of the woods yet, buddy. He didn't like that. I made the dude turn red in the face. Right? Because he pissed me off, people. He pissed me off. First of all, he pissed me off by mocking my relationship with my stepdad. Because the person that did the intake, or whoever wrote his little piece of paper in terms of, you know, general information, just listed me down as a friend. Uncle John was more than a friend to this house. Okay? That's the first thing. And then, you know, he mocked the fact that I'm asking for $10 million from the bank, and he mocked me when I told him I'm asking for $10 million from Fraser Health. Because it's not about, per se, the money, as it is about the precedents, right? If the court sees that there is a wrong, the court must find a remedy. But they don't even want the court to see what is wrong. They're trying to hide it. So, now I'm going to be jumping around a little bit on this one, okay? So anyway, they have this little meeting in a freaking homeless shelter, okay? That's like been like clinical. You know, they got a nice little reception area, and you know everybody knows their job, and you know in the meantime we're sitting here and we're waiting. We got there a little early and we're waiting, and you know the schizophrenics are running in and out. And one sat down, tried to start up a conversation about cops and guns and all this other stuff, and you know, and they got black light in the bloody bathroom. People, I take Andre to the bathroom and there's a freaking black light in there, and that's to prevent the people that go in there from shooting up drugs in the bathroom, right? So, you know, you're in a bathroom, you can't see nothing. Everything, the toilet paper's glowing, your pee is glowing, but everything else you can't really see. You don't even know if you're hitting the toilet when you're taking a damn piss, for crying out loud. And this is where they got you meeting a fucking lawyer, because they were kind enough to donate a room for 30 minutes per person. Okay. And I told him, I don't know who I feel more sorry for. I don't know if I feel more sorry for me, because, you know, this is a lot of stuff that I have to deal with, or if I feel more sorry for you, right? Because this is a lot of stuff that you have to process in a measly 30 minutes and give me sound advice. And then I reminded him, well, I didn't remind him, I told him that I kind of dressed up for him. I'll go, well, yeah. You know, I took the time out to be a little more professional for you. I didn't know if it was going to be a woman or a man. I wasn't trying to be sexy for a man. This is the way, if I was to dress up people, this is the way I would dress. I got compliments from several people out in public today for the way I was dressed. But obviously it intimidated this man, because he had the nerve to accuse me of me thinking that I know everything, because I refused to agree with his assessment that took a total of 15 minutes. Well, 20. And even then, I had to talk at top speed, and I brought a lot of stuff today. This, insignificant. He didn't care. This is the notice of claim for Fraser Health. He didn't care. This is actually another binder full of documentations of medical kidnappings all across the continent. He didn't care. This is transcripts of conversations where Uncle John said he wanted to come home. He didn't care. This is when Andre was in foster care and we had to fight to try and even get to be heard in front of a judge before I was told that I was pointless and useless and I didn't qualify for a lawyer. This he didn't care about. This is against the bank. Wait, here's more. More transcripts. He didn't care. Andres didn't care. This talks about drugs because I told him that they were illegally prescribing drugs on John without his knowledge and that they didn't give him adequate physiotherapy because they wanted to keep him in a broken wheelchair as they were gaslighting him in a bed with a bell ringing off 24/7, unpredictable at any time of the day or any time of the night. And you know what? The dude didn't care. All he cared about was smoothing over the storm that's coming and try and threaten me with, well, you know, you don't have a case, right? Why are you going after Fraser Health? Why are you going after the bank? They're not the ones that are the problem. It's the sister. You should be going after the sister. And I'm like, no, please, please. I'm like, no, because if the bank would have followed through on its contract and done its job correctly, and if Fraser Health would have followed their mandate and done their job correctly, the crooked sister, regardless of whether she was a nurse or not, couldn't have gotten away with what she got away with. Bottom line.
There is none. Yes, there is.
He didn't want to hear it, people. He didn't want to hear it. Right? Because he's comfortable with his world. He's 74 years old. He's going into retirement if he isn't already retired. And he wanted to feel good about himself. Right? So he donates a little bit of time to all the junkies in the neighborhood who are homeless and got no place to live. All the sick people. Right? Doesn't have to be a junkie. Could just be a sick person. Or all the elderly that are losing their homes under the BC Liberal government, right? That are on meager little teeny weeny pensions, unlike Uncle John, that are losing their homes. Because that's what his pro bono group basically represents, are bankruptcies and housing where people are losing their housing.
I don't like you.
Shemaine, please.
Yeah,
So along comes me, right? And I told him, if you don't see the injustice in this, and I actually even called him on the corruption with the bank, and I told him to tell me how the bank wasn't being corrupt. Wasn't being corrupt. And I held him to that question, all in the space of 20 minutes as we were bickering on about other shit. As he's telling me I'm not listening. And that I seem to think I know everything. Well, he only said that one time. But he kept telling me I didn't listen. Because what he wanted me to do is pursue a petition to access the trust accounts. Andres, through CIBC Bank, in subscription with John. When I opened it up with my life insurance policy, stay quiet. I borrowed $2,800 on my life insurance policy to go to the Supreme Court of Canada to fight for my grandson. That's how it all started. You go on my website, you see that $2,800? It came out of my life insurance, people. That's where it came from. That's what got me started with all the paperwork and everything else. And Shemaise, which is on lockdown. Can't do nothing without John's signature or a judge's signature. So he says, you need to go after the little things. That was one of the little things that I needed to go after before you can get into the big things. Basically, you can't talk about medical kidnappings in the notice of claim. You can't let the judge know that somebody's been medically kidnapped until you're actually in front of a judge, even though you're being told you'll never get in front of one because you don't have a fucking case. Because Uncle John was just a friend. You know, just moved in for 30 years. Well, 23. His wife moved in for 5 out of those 23. File a complaint with the BC Human Rights Commission. And then he tried to throw the public guardian trustee at me. I said, are you crazy? I said, I already done that. I already did that on the advice of another lawyer. And what the hell did it get you? Me. It got me a phone call. Oh, he's safe. He's safe. Click. He's safe. Click. Yeah, well, sure. He was sure safe. He had been injured. He had been sick for months after they transported him over to Victoria. And he was brain dead because he lost all his fucking memory because he was punished for thinking about us. Because they wanted to take over his assets and put him in some old folks' home to prop up the healthcare system. Well, what does the healthcare system get out of it? I said, well, they obviously got to prop up their old folks' home. They got to fucking pay as you go under the BC Liberal government, right? And then my daughter jumps in. Well, yeah, and you can't talk to him. And he goes, yeah. And my daughter says, is the judge going to allow her to talk like this? No. You get thrown out of court if she talks like this in court. Well, first of all, I had 20 minutes to try and get to the point, and as he's wanting to read the conditions before we even start the program so that I can't go back and sue him for giving me lousy advice. Or better yet, no advice. So he can go home and feel good about himself. Right? Because he helped another poor person to go bankrupt. Or to avoid bankruptcy. In my case, it would be to avoid bankruptcy. Because I said, okay, let me just first continue. I'm pissed. Abandon current claims against Fraser Health and the bank. I don't want to do that. Nope. But I asked him, what if I don't? How much are they going to charge me, these lawyers, for wasting their time? Being that they know what they're doing and I don't know what I'm doing, even though I'm being accused of knowing what I'm doing. Oh, $5,000, $10,000 each. I'm like, oh. I said, well, how are they going to get money out of me? My income's $677 a month. Are you going to get $2 a month? Well, then you have to go bankrupt. I said, actually, you can't go bankrupt while you're on welfare. It's illegal to go bankrupt while you're on welfare. So what you going to do then? He didn't know what to say. So what? Are they setting me up to come back and go see another one of those guys to go bankrupt? To help me go bankrupt when Fraser Health and CIBC Bank are already making me go bankrupt? So what difference does it make whether I go bankrupt or not? I'm going bankrupt. Only I can't go bankrupt because it's illegal to go bankrupt when you're on welfare. You do the math. He said if I dropped it, chances are I wouldn't be charged anything. There's that hoodwink. They're scaring you with money. Oh, don't pursue the matter because you'll go broke and you'll go bankrupt and you'll lose everything. What am I going to lose? A federal trademark that these people have been playing with because they want to keep control of the assets? They want to keep the people poor while they sit up there and do their half an hour here and half an hour there to make themselves feel good when they don't even want to stand up against the freaking Criminal Code of Canada and stand up for justice? I said to him, this could happen to you. Or maybe somebody you know one day could happen to them. And he didn't care, people, because he was smug. His financial affairs of being a lawyer for 40 years gave him a nice little nest egg that I'm sure through his lawyer friends made sure that nobody can crack that safe. Unlike poor Uncle John, who didn't see what was coming. Because all he really had was his grandchildren, his grandson, and me, his stepdaughter, who actually took the time to look after him. And then he had the audacity to say, D, pursue claim against John's relations. No. Fraser Health can reprimand his sister. Fraser Health is the employer of the social workers and the nurses' aides, the nurses, and this thing, this gargoyle that flew over from the freaking island and stuck her tentacles into John and flew off and devoured him. It was Fraser Health that allowed him to do that, to allow her to do that. So therefore, they are responsible for that through their mandate that they failed to follow through. And I have a right to present that to the court, with or without legal counsel, because I can tell you, after today, I've been targeted by this group of lawyers as hostile. Because I got firm. I said, hold on a minute. I started pulling this stuff. He's telling me not to pull it out of the bag. I said, no, I got 20 minutes. You got to see this. This is what I need help. What do I do? Do I log it? Oh, well, you need to make a list. I said, yeah, but how do I list it? Like, can you at least help me? Oh, well, no, I think you should just drop the whole thing. You're just, because if you don't, you're going to be facing bankruptcy. I'm already facing bankruptcy, people. Only I can't go bankrupt. I am locked in to this nightmare as much as I am locked into this house right now. Because it's a joy for them. It's a joke for them. It makes them feel empowered. It makes them feel good. They go home and they twist things around just so that they can keep you derailed. So, I still hold the bank responsible. And I still hold Fraser Health responsible for what happened to Uncle John, because neither one of them followed their mandates. This lawyer tried to tell me that the bank did what it felt that it had the right to do. I said, how? You tell me what gave that bank the right to do that. What gave that bank the right to do what they did when you have a power of attorney sitting there since 1990? Well, what did you get accused of? I said, well, as far as I know, withholding his care, because I wouldn't pay for convalescent care because John didn't want to go to convalescent care right then and there. He wanted to come home first. His wife came home 50 fucking times. Why couldn't he have come home once? He had that right. So therefore, I was refusing his care because I refused to pay for it. When I told the lawyer, I told the social worker, you want to put him in convalescent care, you put him in convalescent care, and then you bill us, and John and I will pay it either through monthly payments or we'll take it to court. And then after that, the war was on. And they decided to try and get him by any means necessary. I rattled off all those things under the criminal code. He ignored it. 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 Ignored it all, people. He wanted to take the easy route out so he could go home and feel good about himself, like he gave me some really sound advice. Didn't care about my kids' feelings. Losing Uncle John, losing their grandpa, losing the only family member that they ever grew up with around them. Right? My aunts and uncles are dead. My mother's dead. Been dead since I've been 25. I'm 55, so that's how many years? 30 years my mom's been dead. So they never had a grandmother. All they had was Uncle John. All my cousins are racist because they seem to think that they're so much better than me because, they got their little white picket fence with their poodle on their side and, didn't breed outside of the Caucasian race. It's just stupid, people. Stupid. So, I guess I'm a lamb up for slaughter. I'm some sacrificial lamb here that everybody's eating their popcorn watching being slaughtered. Through a justice system that can't even provide proper legal counsel of any kind unless you've got $100,000 to pay for it. Basically. Right? I don't consider 20 minutes. Because it took him 15 minutes to fill out his fucking form. Right? It took him 15 minutes to make me read and agree that I wouldn't come back and sue his ass for being a dickhead. Right? And then it took him another 15 minutes to, 8 minutes or whatever it was, to write down his suggestions. As he completely ignored everything I had to say. Completely ignored it. Acted as if he was the judge and the jury. And that we had no case. Because it all falls on John's sister. John's sister is the one that controlled the whole situation. Fraser Health had absolutely nothing to do with it. The bank had nothing to do with it. Right? It was all John's sister. Where I disagree. If Fraser Health would have followed through on their mandate, the sister couldn't have flew in and put her talons in and flew out and ate up John for breakfast. And the bank, if the bank can come in and close your account with the blink of an eye on false allegations that they don't fucking follow up on, well, then we're in pretty rough state, people, because they're already doing it with people with student loans. They're just going in and taking money from them. They're doing it from people with, child support. They, if you get your income taxes back, right, and it goes into your account, the government comes in and just takes it out through family enforcement maintenance. They're taking it out from student loan department, wherever. This is government corruption. And all these people want to do is help you how to go bankrupt after the government bankrupted you. By hook or by crook. Right? Either or. I'm going bankrupt. It doesn't matter. I'm going bankrupt if I do it their way, and I'm going bankrupt if I do it my way. I'm 55 years old now. What the fuck do I got left to live for other than to stand up for my family, my children, my grandson, and my stepdad, who always was standing there for me? So that means I got to make an attempt between now and May 18th, which is, I don't know if it's the bank or Fraser Health, and then May 25th, either Fraser Health or the bank, to go in front of a judge to have it thrown out of court. So I got to do an amendment before then. And I got to list all my documents before then. And that's a lot of work because, again, I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I went to go see this lawyer. Right? But I do feel like I was set up to fail. For the simple fact is they listed Uncle John as a friend. That was the first red flag. They should have listed him down as a stepdaughter. I told that guy. But you see, they don't want to rock the boat. Right? They don't. Because there is corruption within the bar association. Right? Okay? You know, these guys, they come head to head, fighting each other in front of a judge, acting like they're at arm's length to each other. As soon as the case is over, they're shaking hands, calling each other friends, and then going off and having a drink somewhere and dinner. That's what I'm up against. With their black law book that twists things around, apparently, right? And whatever else shenanigans they got up their freaking sleeves because they've been doing it for 45 years. You know? Why would an old man want to take on corruption? Hell no. He wants to retire in peace. Do his good duty for all the homeless people and sick people in the community that have nothing, losing their houses, you know, going bankrupt, whatever. So that when he dies, he can go to his God and say, look how nice I was, even though I've got $2 million sitting in the bank. For my grandkids. I told him, how would you feel if you lost your grandkids? He didn't like that. He turned red in the face. And he needed to go red in the face. Because how would he feel if he lost his grandkids? For his corrupt sister grubbing around for his money. With the facilitation of a corrupt banking system and a corrupt healthcare system. To get it. To put him away in some old folks' home. Lock him in so he can't go out on his own. Be free. And have to sit there and wait for that cow to come in and visit him and then remind him that he can't talk to his grandchildren because he has nothing in life because his only purpose is to prop up her fat ass. Oh, one more thing. It doesn't pay to be purty. Unless you're some little sex bomb. Then it's different. People react to you different. But if you're pretty, petite, but you stand up for yourself, and you firm, they don't like it. Try and put their thumb on you. Call you down. Right? Just like that lawyer today. Oh, you seem to think you know everything. Really? And that's why I'm sitting here talking to you. And you didn't care about anything that I presented to you. I presented John's will. All kinds of other pieces of paper that confirmed that stuff. His will was written in 1998. Asking me, well, maybe there's been a new one written. You need to go look online. I'm like, okay, if he wrote a new one, it was obviously as he was confused and lost his memory and was kidnapped under the Mental Health Act that wasn't followed through on the mandate. So I don't think that will is valid. And what does it matter? John was competent enough to come home. He told people time after time in that healthcare system he wanted to go home. Is it his fault that they gave him a bunch of dope so that he couldn't get up out of the wheelchair? That he couldn't put on his own sweater on some days? That they forced him to sit in a dirty diaper with a broken wheelchair and a bell ring? Was that all John's fault? Or was that by design?